Well, he's got to go, hasn't he, the manager now?
Well, look, I think questions are going to be asked now because he spent a lot of money, brought in players, spent a few quid, and you are miles off it.
The writing's on the wall. He's going to go eventually, isn't he? We're just prolonging it now. He's clearly not working with this guy. The players are clearly not playing for him. I think when if this Jim Ratcliffe comes in and he's going to be head of football and affairs, usually when a new chairman comes in, they always like to appoint their own man in the job anyway. So there's a good chance he's going to go anyway. He's probably not going to see eye to. They usually like to appoint their own man. He set away affliction the muscles of men above. It happens at every company, not just at football clubs.
Stu, look, I get that, and I understand he could be on his way out, Ten Hag. I think he probably wants to get out of there at the moment when he's looking at the group of players that he's got playing for him and the attitude towards the football matches and the performances that they're putting in a football pitch. Come on.
I mean, I've got to pull you up as well. You said before that the guy's a good manager. If he's a good manager, well, I certainly think he'd be getting more of a tune out of him than what they are at the moment. Maybe he's not a good manager. Maybe
he is, though. His track record says that.
No. Yeah, but if you look at the Holland League, he had some crushing defeats for in Holland, When it wasn't all rosy in the garden.
No, but he finished in the top 4 last season, got to 2 finals. He knows what he's doing.
Wow. Do you know what, Stu? You know when you start losing, when you're a manager, everybody jumps on everything you say. I think some of his press conferences has been lost in translation, some of it. I don't think he actually said we can't play like we did at Ajax. I think he meant was we can't play like that in the Premier League. Ajax couldn't play like that in the Premier League. I think that's what he meant.
Well, in my opinion, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in charge, we knew what we were in terms of we're a good break team. We're a good team on the break. That's what we were under Solskjaer. This guy, to me, I don't know what we are.
I don't know what you are.
We don't seem to string more than 4 or 5 passes together. All this, we're good at possession base. We don't keep the ball long enough. You watch us, 4 or 5 passes, we lose that.
Well, nobody was saying that last season, though. Nobody was saying what's our identity last season.
Dean, listen, I watched this last season. We still couldn't keep the ball like the top teams. We couldn't, mate. We didn't. Don't kid yourself.
No, I'm not saying you play like Man. You haven't got good enough players to play like Man City.
So we weren't this great possession-based team that everyone thinks we were last season because we won. Listen, at the end of the day, the writing's on the wall. This guy is eventually going to go because he's clearly not working. What we do from here on in, I don't know what we do here from an.
Who would you want, Stu, if he did get the sack?
Well, they're on about this Jim Ratcliffe being good mates with this Graham Potter, and he wants to bring him in. And who is that? I don't know who there is to bring in. But to me, Ten Hag, it looks like the job's too big for him. I remember back in the 1990s.
Well, it's not going to be too big for Graham Potter.
Well, it probably will be. I'm not saying he's the man, but what I'm saying is, if you look back in the 90s, Manchester City appointed a manager called Steve Coppell, and he didn't last 30 days in the job. It was too big for him because the club was in disarray. This is our Steve Coppell. This guy who's in charge, he's too big for him. The job's too big for him. When you see him in his interviews, he looks like he's trying to find somewhere to hide in a corner.
Yeah, he looked lost tonight on the sideline.
But Stu,
he looked defeated.
If you don't get rid of some of these players, if he doesn't, they'll get rid of you. It's as simple as that. He's been trying to get rid of Maguire. Right, obviously the owners are not prepared to write the check.
Maguire's a proper professional.
No, but he's been trying to get rid of him. If he wants to get rid of him, he should say to the owner, because everybody thinks it's about how much money they give you to buy players. It's also giving you writing a check to get rid of a player.
Yeah, I know, but you can't do that.
Martial's still at the club.
He's playing. We can't get rid of him because no one wants him because he don't look at his performance tonight.
But he ends up playing again. Why? He ends up on the pitch again. Linderof's still on the pitch. Maguire ends up on the pitch. I'd get rid of Anthony's. I mean,
you can't get rid of Anthony. You've just bought him.
Anthony. Well, you'd have to sell him for half price. But he keeps coming inside and shooting.
Amount of times he comes inside,
it drives me mad. But the players, they've got rid of 6 managers. This group of players.
All right, let's go to Bobby, who's a Manchester United fan. All right, Bob.
All right, guys. I agree with O'Hara. We found some common ground. But where I don't agree with you is you turned around tonight and said Ten Hag's a great manager. Let me tell you something. Ten Hag is no more a Manchester United manager than Bruno Fernandes is a Manchester United captain. The only similarities between Ten Hag and Sir Alex Ferguson is they have a chewing habit that's the same chewing gum. And that's where it starts and that's where it ends. I don't like much what he does from his managerial side to how he handles the press. Ten Hag come out a few weeks ago and said it was like we was eaten by sharks when we lost a few weeks ago. I remember when we got beat off Liverpool under David Moyes. Moyes come out and said we aspire to be like Liverpool. Ryan Giggs went to town on Moyes and said, we're Manchester United and don't aspire to be no one. Guess what happened? He got the sack shortly after. So why is Ten Hag getting the get out of jail card time and time again? It just shows you how pathetic Old Trafford is at the moment. He looks like a clown on the sideline. All that's missing is a red nose and some face paint, and I'll leave it there.
Do you know if he got sacked tomorrow, he'd probably sit down and think, right, I've had 14 months, I spent 400 million, and it doesn't look like we've got a good player on the pitch, and we're losing. So, fair enough.
Right, but then he goes to say we can't play the Ajax way. He's just bought half the Ajax team. So you're saying it's lost in translation. I'm saying the guy doesn't know. A few weeks ago, he was playing Sam Allardyce football. When we bought Onana, they're acting like we bought Andre Pirlo, Verratti, and someone else. I don't care if he's good with his feet. We don't just focus on the goalkeeper. We could have kept David De Gea here and brought someone like Marco Verratti in who can hold the ball up, who can turn back to goal, give it to the keeper give it back. We've got nothing like that. So why did we buy him? Who's he going to pass to? Hey, Maguire, don't make me laugh. Right? We've got it totally wrong. And what needs to happen at Old Trafford, we need someone like Abramovich to come in who treat Manchester United like a hobby. Don't strip him, because United look like a business whose resources have been stripped and stripped and stripped, and now we're seeing the final article. I tell you what United are best off doing. Welbeck goes a backheel with the back of the net and relegates Manchester United like Dennis Law did. Because you know what? We can compete in the championships. We can't even compete in the Champions League against FC Copenhagen. We nearly went 1-1. We're getting beat 3-0 off Newcastle. What's going on? This is not Manchester United. And United fans must not be glory hunters, like you all say, glory, glory, Man United, because the stadium's always full. It won't be long before them fans have had enough.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.